Welcome to the Blind Apex Podcast, where amateur club racers tune in to get faster.
This episode is brought to you by Deechworks. Visit deechworks.com for all your fuel system needs. I'm your host, Con John Turk, and on this episode, we're talking Honda Challenge, but not H2. I'm sure you're tired of hearing that every episode, because it's all I have to talk about. But we're going to talk about H1. Currently, I believe it's intended to be the fastest Honda Challenge class in the rulebook. Joining me, two returning guests, two former H2 drivers, sort of H1 drivers, but we'll get into that. Suspension and race coaching guru, Jackie Andrews, car builder extraordinaire, and lover of championship white, Mr. Mustache himself, Ryan Bradfield. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Con.
Thanks, Con.
Yeah. So, let's start with Jackie. What have you been up to this season? Because we need to catch up with you. You made some changes. So, and where are you racing these days?
I did make some changes. I'm racing Northeast stuff still. Don't ask me about Hyperfest. If I'm there, then you know that I made it. I did make some changes. Nothing power related. I made some aero changes and another roll center change because I can't get enough. And I went to the Glen and the car was a lot faster.
You think it was the aero or the roll center or a little of both?
Everything.
Yeah.
Because the car was still pushy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it all out, and the car was still from like qualify to race. It was 1.6 seconds faster, and it was already faster than my PB. So we're totally from like a 209 something to a 208.4.
Well, good changes.
Mm-hmm.
They worked, but you also posted some springs today, so you making some more changes?
Making another change. So the splitter changes that I made worked. But the splitter is now really pitch sensitive. So, and the car was squatting, and it's always kind of done that, and I kind of knew about it and was like, whatever, it seems to be fine. But with the splitter being pitch sensitive, that was why it was so pushy and like the really fast stuff. So I'm going to go up 50 pounds of spring in the rear and hope that that does what I need it to do, or at least gets me on the right track.
That sounds good. Ryan, what are you up to these days?
I haven't been in the garage in like 2 weeks, so I need a productive weekend to get ready for Hyperfest. I need got an oil cooler to address some high oil temps that I saw at Summit when it was only 80 degrees outside, and I'm sure it's going to be hotter than that at Hyperfest. And then finish up some radiator ducting, and then just do the normal nut and bolt alignment check, stuff like that. Nothing crazy.
For those of you who don't know, Ryan's recording from his garage with the door open, so you can hear some birds at times. So
Thought it added to the ambiance.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to pack your cool suit too?
Yeah, definitely bringing the cool suit. That's worth the extra 15 pounds.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Just insanity, especially Sunday afternoon race is the worst, I think. But
when you're 3,200 pounds anyway, it's another 15.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares? We're definitely going to get into that. But so both of you, we're all recording together before my conversation with Dylan goes out about balance. So you should check out that one because Dylan got me sort of upset calling Honda Challenge H2 a builder's class. So I want to know your opinions on that.
I don't.
You think it is?
I don't think the build that I've done for H1 is much different than H2. from the things that I've done to the car. Like there aren't many things I've done to the TSX that you also wouldn't do to a front-running H2 car.
Okay.
Unless I'm missing
Jackie?
something. I can't think of anything offhand. It's just H1's
I
just
think-
more.
Right. Okay.
I definitely agree. You can't just throw parts at it and think you're going to run up front in H2. You've got to figure out what works.
Yeah. And H2 allows engine swaps. You can put non-native to the chassis engines in, older chassis cars. You can do splitter. You can do a wing. I mean, that's all stuff that you do in H1. And in my mind, the build is really not that different. I guess per the H1 rules, you can start to get into a little bit of the internals of the engines and stuff, but I haven't done that. And, there are plenty of people that are building engines specifically for H2, so that's not really a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. I've priced it out, and it's almost the same amount of money if it's the same chassis.
Yeah. And I know what it costs to put a K series into a Golden Era car, and it's not cheap.
It's minimum $12,000.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Minimum.
No. What VTech Academy, the Haaswork guys swapped for $3,500.
Yeah, they also told me that my gearing wouldn't work in my transmission that's been in there for 5 or 6 years. So
yeah, I mean, what's a good clutch type diff? $1,200. I mean, how does that factor into that $3,500?
Keep going.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
you're not wrong, but
you could swap a street car for that, but you're not doing it for a race car,
right?
Yeah, but we're all going to run clutch type diffs, right? Like B series, K series, H1, H2.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you guys. I don't. But at the same time, the intent is a balance of power class for H2. And H1 is also a balance of power, but it's sort of more willy-nilly, and there's a lot more freedom. But I believe the balance of power for both H1, the balance of power for H1 is what needs to be worked on. The balance of power for H2 seems to be pretty good. This is coming from me, a restricted prep kid. Okay. But at the same time, you can't just, like you said, you have to, you can't just throw parts at the car. You have to develop the car, right?
Yeah. I guess my question would be, what defines a builder's class? I mean, I guess to define it with the opposite, I guess a non-builder's class would be like B spec or something like that, where you're not changing shocks or dampers. You're not taking the engine out and putting a different engine in. But H1 to H2, I don't think H1 is much more of a builder's class than H2.
Okay. And I'm not going to disagree about that. But Jackie, let's talk about the history of H1, because once upon a time there was H1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I believe in that setup, it was the builder's class.
Yes.
Sure.
Like H5 was the ITB cars, essentially, the carbureted single jingles.
Mm-hmm.
H4 way back in the day, that was the ITA cars, so the multi-point fuel injected CRX single jingles and alike, right?
Yes.
The Civic SIs. We got H3 had like
ITS.
all I remember, it was like the ITS cars, but like the H23 Preludes were driving in there.
Mm-hmm. GSR,
some other one. GSR Integras, things like that. And then I don't remember what H2 was, because the field was in our region in the Mid-Atlantic was mostly H1 cars.
Yeah. So H2 was Type Rs and 22 Preludes.
Okay, so H22 Preludes and native and swapped ITRs, right?
No, just OEM Type Rs in Type R chassis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you do engine swaps in this era that we're talking about? Like, could you put a Type R motor in a GSR chassis?
Nope.
Not.
So that's why there were more classes, because you were making, there were fewer combinations.
Yeah. Also,
Correct.
there were more SCCA cars running back then, so you
Yeah.
had to crossover. That was kind of the point.
Yeah.
And then it gave the Type R somewhere to go because the Type R in SCCA wasn't classed. So people had them, and they were like, "Oh, I want to race it, and I can't."
Yeah.
So,
Right.
But yeah, H1 was silly back in the day.
Oh, it
Fast.
was nasty.
Not reliable. Like you could
No.
win if your car didn't break because somebody was going to shoot rods out of their motor. And
It's like B20 VTEX and stuff, right?
Yeah, but like the tuning capabilities weren't great back then.
Yeah.
This is before like Honda. So
It was right as Honda came out. Most
Okay.
of the guys were still on that Apex SAF
Mhm.
V2 or whatever.
VAFC.
The
I just found one in my toolbox a couple days ago.
I had one of my old Type R.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back and they were putting like big cams, like June
Toda
3s,
Yeah.
Toda 3s, like was
So
it
that's
June
when
C
B20
or
bottom ends were
80s?
practically free. So you could just blow one up and put another one on and carry out the weekend, right?
Somebody went through 3 in a weekend.
Yeah.
Easily. I bet that happened more than once. I know.
I don't know if 3 happened more than once, but I know someone went through 3. Like, went through the race motor, went through the spare, got the one out of the street car, put that in. I think that one may have let go too.
Yeah.
Probably the one that had never been taken apart is the one that lasted.
Maybe. Yeah.
But even
Wow.
back then, H1 was intended to be the fastest Honda class, right?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
fastest Honda Challenge class.
Minus the
Yeah.
short-lived HU. Wasn't there like one HU car? It's like a
There were
turbo-
2.
Yeah.
There were 2. They were just nowhere near each other. One
Yeah.
was in Ohio and the other one was in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So HU that popped up. I don't know what the thought process was behind that, but I believe they were in the realm of turbos and superchargers and all the anything nasty you could throw at it.
And they
So-
they still wanted to race with their buddies, so someone made an HU class for them real quick.
Exactly. It was a turbo Type R because the guy already had it and didn't want to take the turbo off it.
Okay.
So we made a class for it, and H4 was faster than him because the tires wouldn't last. But there was nobody else
Wow.
that he was racing. And then the guy in Texas, I believe it was an NSX. And that was the only place you could put it was HU. But that was short-lived.
Let's get
Okay.
that back. Let's get an NSX back in the class somewhere.
You're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, Ryan, you have that
money.
money.
Build a new car.
That one's still good. Sell it for a ton of money, and then you can build an NSX.
Yeah. No, my rule is I'm adding 2 more cylinders each time I build a car. So the next car's got to be a V8.
When's Honda going to make you a V8 then?
I don't know. They're talking about racing NASCAR, right? Maybe we'll get one then.
Oh, there you go.
What about that V24 thing they're making? The 2 K24s mated together with the.
That sounds like
that'll
that
be
sounds like a headache.
Yeah. 2
Well,
timing chains? No, thank you.
Maybe a boat motor.
But so you bring up HU, and that sort of brings us into the modern era because Ryan's built a double wishbone front wheel drive J series car. For those that don't know, what do you have to do? What's your weight have to be, Ryan?
3125.
Yeah, 3125. So you have a 3.5 liter with remote reservoirs, right? Is that what I'm?
Yep. So
guessing?
that's where the 100 and then the 25 come from. 3.2
Okay.
liters are 3,000, and
3,000.
3.7 liters are 3,200.
Okay. The L15B, so the turbo, I'm assuming is what they're referring to, is a 3250 car with no add-ons for remote reservoirs.
I think we might actually remove it from H1. Spoiler alert.
Really? Okay.
It's never going to stay together. If anybody builds it, it's going to blow up.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to remove it because I believe the aftermarket support's coming. I just don't think it would be smart to build one now. Similarly,
it's going to break.
Yeah, but can't we sleeve in H1?
Yeah, but like the bearing journals on the crank are too small.
Why was it added in the first place? Just to anticipate future stuff?
Probably, because I don't think anyone ever asked to run it. Probably threw it in there. Okay, let's class it in case somebody wants to run it.
Yeah.
And then as information started to come out, it's like, oh yeah, this is really a jet ski motor. No, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
It may stay. I don't know. I know we had discussed removing it, so we'll see. But I think it's going to get removed.
And to date, we don't have a home for the CTR that Helms is developing, right?
Correct. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Literally as we speak. But
yeah, I don't want to drop secrets. The maybe we're getting into challenges early, but it looks like the J series. You're not the first J series though, right, Ryan?
No, I'm sure the rule for the J was probably put into H1 when the Honda guys were running the TL in like 2004, 2006, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so that formula was already in the rule book, and that's what encouraged me looking at how the H1 rules were currently set. And I don't know when I started getting interested in the V6s and the TSXs. I'm sure it's from watching real-time race them. But yeah, that's the rules were already there, so I just looked at those, and that's why I have the car I have now.
Yeah, but I think the biggest challenge is getting this balance of power back into H1, right? We have B series, basically any B series you want to build. I believe the only B series you could build would be the B20 to compete, but it says unmodified OEM crank, 70 millimeter max throttle body, OEM log intake manifold, engine otherwise unrestricted. That's not true because it also has a max compression of 12.7 to 1.
I mean, that's got to be the recipe Helms had in his EK.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Right.
It was
and down
very loosely that.
Down to 2,200 pounds.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that would be the challenge for the B series. Do we even think they're going to still be competitive with a B series car? Nobody's shown up with one for a while, so that's why I asked.
I'm working on a new formula that I need to work the number and see if the weight would be possible. But if my theory is correct, it's possible. I had to see if the weight is something that's like reasonable or if it's like 1,800 pounds. But I'm literally working on something. Started today. I got the okay from Marcel to start working on it. That is literally to fix exactly this. It's like, how do we get these cars to be even again?
Right. And I'm okay. Let's talk about the D series because Jaime, when he wins the lottery, he can build. It says engine unrestricted, also a 12.7 to 1 and 2,000 pound car.
Mm-hmm.
So when he wins the lottery, there'll be signs. It'll say H1 on the side of his car, But what's the biggest D series out there? 1.6 liter?
You can make a 1.7. I think one of the limiting factors is what size of a cam you can put in it. You might physically run out of space.
Just like Ryan did with his J series.
Yeah, do the D series cams slide in instead of drop in?
I think they might drop in like
because the limiting factor for the J is that they slide in like a small
so
black.
It only has so much room.
Yeah, and the journal size is what determines the max lobe height on the J's. That's why the cams can't get that crazy.
And so the next set of engines, there's a C series in here, but I've never seen anybody actually prep one of those. But the next set of engines is a F20, F22. And so far to date, we've talked about what now in 2024, all of them are rare-ish engines and transmissions to deal with. The S2000 setups are harder and harder to come by, right? The D series, we used to give them away. I used to just recycle them. They're really hard to come by. Maybe Jaime can check it as luggage on his way home and take it home with him if he wants. But even, the F20 is a 2,300 pound car. The F22 is a 2,450 car. We go to the H series. That's a 2,450 car. So the H22. I haven't seen an H22 H1 car in a long time. Do you guys have any up in your neck of the woods, Jackie?
We had one. It's gone. I know where there's another one sitting in Ohio somewhere, ready to go. Someone just needs to go drive it. But not a lot. Not a lot of H series anything, really.
Right. And so the common motors of the day are going to be the J series, the K series, and whatever anybody's going to do with these L's. And I can't remember what's in the FK8 now, what designation it is. But those are our common engines these days. Those are the modern engines to be building. So, Jackie, you have a K-swapped Golden Era. What do you think it will take to get the K series to compete with the J series and the potential addition of this CTR?
I think cams, maybe a compression bump and cams. I think it's going to need to make 280 to 300 depending on the dyno. So let's call it 280. And it's, give or take, the K24 is going to make more torque. So la-di-da. I mean, I don't know because I haven't driven against one that's air quotes evenly matched. We have one in ST4, but I'm like 40 horsepower down in ST, so that doesn't really count. And I haven't driven against Bradfield yet. But I think on paper, from what I'm kind of figuring out, it needs to make about 280. So I think that's cams and a compression bump.
That's the K24 you're talking about, right? Because I don't see a K20 making 280 without a lot more help.
It will probably make the power and just not make the torque. I'm sure Chad's yelling and screaming at me right now about that. Yeah, I don't think
anyone can hear him from North Carolina right now.
I can hear him from my house.
Because his motor blew up a few weekends ago. Is that what we're saying?
No, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think at Roebling the other weekend.
It did.
His new one that he put together or something else?
I don't know which one it is, but I think that's why he's claiming not to be coming to Hyperfest.
Oh, man, I wanted to race him again. But yeah, everybody that would do anything like that would just build a K24 for the torque, which I totally understand. So, because I think cam-wise, you're only going to get but so much, and it's a timing chain motor, so you don't want to run too much cam because it's going to beat up the timing chain tensioner. It's going to be changing those all the time. So, but yeah, I think somewhere in there, time will tell.
Okay. So you said you're working on this balance of power project.
Yes.
That's awesome. I don't want you to let the cat out of the bag if you can't or don't want to. That's fine. But Ryan, how do you see H1 going forward? Do you see these older motors even being something to worry about for the rules committee?
I think it would be easier, and I don't know why Honda Challenge hasn't always been a power to weight class. It seems like that would alleviate having to know how much power all these different engines make and what the cars weigh. And I'm sure there's a reason why it hasn't always been that way. But, all the ST classes and stuff, they're all power to weight. And it seems like that would simplify a lot of these questions that we have.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I think the original reason why we didn't do it when we had discussed it a while ago was to not get absorbed into ST. Because I think it popped up when they were trying to absorb us into ST. And I'm like, well, that's going to be bad.
Yeah.
So we made our lives harder for, 6 more years. But,
Jackie, having now raced in ST, how do you feel about racing in a mixed class versus an all Honda class?
it's fun.
Yeah.
I like it.
It looks fun.
I have the giant excuse of I make 40 less horsepower. I don't have ABS and it's a 2-liter.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's definitely fun. It's different because now the cars work different ways. So you have to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But it being a power to weight class is good and bad. ST, the big issue that I have with ST is they don't take the torque into account at all.
Right.
So it may not be a thing at all tracks, but it is a thing at some tracks where if you make the same horsepower but another 100 foot-pounds, like Jose, for example, with his J Series at the Glen, when the car wasn't working quite right. We were kind of close, but coming out of the toe, he would literally pull out, drive past me, and pull back in front of me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess when I say power to weight, I mean power to weight with modifiers, right? So maybe the K20 or the K24 is the benchmark, and there's a break for B series cars, and then there's a penalty for turbo and J series cars.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to take the torque into account, trying to build this new modifier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually thinking today, but that'll be a later term thing, of putting in something for those with smaller tires. If you're on a golden era car on 15s, the biggest tire you can purchase is a 245. So maybe you get a little bit of a break for that. That was an ST idea because they do something kind of similar with that. But I think if we move to a power to weight based thing in H1, the torque needs to be part of the equation.
Yeah. Yeah. ST4 on Toyos is pretty much what I was thinking, Con.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
and
I would base it either
okay.
off of the J Series or the FK8 motor.
Yeah.
And let me play the devil's advocate for you, because and Jackie might back me up on this, I don't know. Your car in H1 trim outside of power to weight is not maximized for ST.
No.
So there's chassis stuff that you have to do, especially with the front wheel drive cars, to make sure that you're optimized for ST.
Well, actually, I'm just aero-wise this stuff. I still have aero stuff that I could do.
Okay.
The chassis is pretty much done.
Like splitter tunnels?
But-
you use splitter tunnels?
No, so we can't do those in ST. But because it's power to weight and I'm so far down, I could do a bunch of other crap. So I could put canards on. I could put a splitter that's so big it doesn't work on. And I could put a diffuser on.
Gotcha.
So I did figure out that E46 canards fit. So I might put those on.
But you can run a bigger wing in ST than H1, right? Am I wrong about that?
No.
I think they're the same. I think the rules for that are the
it's
same.
body line.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's just the H2 car, because every time we talk about HFGT, which is based off ST4, there's a mountain of things that my car needs to even forget the power in the, my car with a 2-liter at its current weight would need 90 more horsepower for Toyos or 30 more horsepower for Hoosiers.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds right.
And then there's
And a splitter that's twice as big.
right.
Yep.
More than twice as big because I have a newer car where the front doesn't protrude very much. So there's challenges there, but everybody needs a home. And I know we're trying to revive H1. We're trying to make sure there's a home for them now. Is there any thought to making sure that the rest of the H1 rules align with ST4? Because I'm not sure we can get the power to wait. Maybe we can easily get power to wait into the ST4 categories. It'd either be a detune or a tune up or whatever for however people played the weight.
My car with, say we use 10-1, my car weighs 3,100 pounds. I'd need 310 horsepower, which is another 20 that I have now. That's not insurmountable. Jackie's car at, I don't know what, 2,500 pounds and 250 with a K in it wouldn't be that hard to do.
Right. Yeah. Your car would actually be close. Because even if you're down on power and let's say you run on Toyos, you put a bigger splitter on or you put canards on or some other jazz, you can start to soak up some of that.
Yeah.
So, and that was kind of why my thought was to base the new H1 stuff off of like a 300 horsepower J or like the K20, whatever that's in the FK8. Because that's like it's like 325 or 350 somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, and then
equal or more torque. Yeah.
Probably more. Yeah. And then just, you zhuzh up the K series to catch up. But it's doable and it's not a ton of money, I don't think.
So I mean, not necessarily for the K series.
The next part of that question is, if we do make these rule changes, do we expect many people to move to or build H1 cars?
Right.
Yeah, so that's the nut we have to crack as Honda Challenge enthusiasts. No matter where I race, I want to see H1 stacked in front of me when we go do standing starts, right? It's the most entertaining place to be is when you can see the H1 cars in front of you do a standing start. It's amazing to me. I love it. Okay.
Unless they stall and then all the H2 cars fly by them.
Bradfield, stop launching in like sixth gear or whatever you were trying to do to make it not burn down the tires. Yeah, I'm sure. But we want to revitalize it, but the class. But at the same time, we want to easily be able to give those who are currently on the island by themselves, like Ryan, or close to an island by herself, like Jackie. How many H1 cars are technically in the Northeast? Not enough for contingency, right?
Like 5 or 6. There's a ton of S2000s.
With the various swaps. Right?
Yeah, 1J, 1K, and I think 3 or 4 F series. And they all run like ST4 or ST5, which is super annoying. And I've tried to get them to come back to H1 because there's a group of them. And like it'll be cheaper for you to run H1 than it would to run ST5. So far, no.
But they're not. Okay.
No, I mean they'll get it eventually. I hope, but
is there a decent ST5 field outside of them? Is that why they're running ST5 instead of H1?
I think that's why.
Yeah.
The faster people have kind of moved on, so it's just them, and they can kind of vibe together.
Yep.
So, big fields, bigger contingency, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the field is like their pace. So
okay, so it's super competitive with a big enough field where they get really good contingency. That's going to be hard to bring them back.
Yes.
Till people fall off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know what to do about that currently.
Jackie, why did you build an H1 car?
I don't know that I've ever said this one out loud.
Let's go.
I beat everyone that was fast. And if I didn't beat someone in particular, I beat someone that beat them. So I needed a new challenge. It was the worst idea ever. After I reset the track record at pit race and was like, I'm done. I'm taking this motor out. I'm going to H1. And I went home and took it out. And at the time we had H1 people. So I was like, all right, this will be awesome. I can like start boosting up this class and race with new people and learn new stuff. And then slowly everybody left.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I figured.
Yeah. It would have been easier to just go to the Mid-Atlantic and like race Chris Michaels.
Yeah. Hindsight and all that.
I would have spent way less money. But I wouldn't have learned as much as I did. I learned a ton with this car in this trim.
Yeah.
Getting it to work and learning the K-Series and then all the new setup stuff that I've done. Because the setup is quite different from a H2 car to an H1 car. I have the same chassis. So.
Yeah, but are you ready to build an H2 or H1 K-Series now?
Well, which H1? Current H1 or
I didn't
future?
build it already, and it's not sitting on the stand in my garage, Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, future one. I mean, you're the one playing with the rules, so you're gonna know what it's gonna take. I'm assuming it to fix the K series. It's a minimum gonna be cams.
Definitely cams. And I hear Chad yelling at me again because he said it like 3 years ago, and I'm like, no, we don't need cams, but he's right. Yeah, it's cams. It's because I think everything else, even if we didn't do bottom ends right away, I think everything else is there to support a good set of cams and make good power. I've seen what like a K24 kind of built around the rules that we have with cams. I've seen some make 270. I don't know how accurate that is, but I make 230. So if you give me 50 more foot-pounds and a whole bunch more horsepower, it's going to be fun.
One thing I know Chad screams about, and I can hear him screaming about it right now, is that there needs to be at least a 3-second disparity between H2 and H1. That's what he says.
Don't we have that now? I have it up here.
At VIR, yeah. Not quite at Summit right now.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, my car is H1 trim. It's actually a little heavy, but it's H1 trim. And at the Glen, I did a 208, and the H2 did like 213. So.
Okay. Maybe it's just Chad then. Well, you're not wrong, Ryan. It's what is it? 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds at Summit Point.
I could look it up, but it was more than 2 at Summit and 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it was like 3.5 or 4 at VIR.
There you go.
Okay.
I would imagine your car wouldn't be as good at Summit because it's tighter than VIR.
Yeah, it's got
just because it's so heavy.
It's got great straightaway handling.
Handling. I didn't think my car would be good at Summit, but it's much better at Summit than it is at VIR. Maybe that's just me, but
I'm working on it. I'm going to have to build a big custom rear sway bar. That is going to be my next fabrication project.
Oh,
so we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Low Buck Consulting Services.
Yeah,
she can help you.
Yeah, what's it? It's a big car, and it's only got a 25 millimeter bar on the back because that's all that the tiny aftermarket for this car makes.
That's easy enough. Just build a Speedway style bar.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Not by Hyperfest.
Come on, Ryan. You have 14 days.
I know.
Get to it. It won't be powder coated and stuff in time, so you won't do it.
Well, then why even bother?
Right.
Man's got a point.
If she heard what your spring rates were, she might not want you to try the Speedway bar first, but we'll see.
Well,
anyway.
Once I get a big rear bar, we can rethink rear spring rates.
What are the spring rates currently, Ryan?
1,300 on the front, 900 on the rear.
Okay.
They're not that crazy.
It's 3,100 pound car. That's
yeah. on a 295 width tire.
Getting it.
Yeah, lots of meat on that car. I believe that's another challenge is how much tire these golden era cars can take.
Yeah, I mean that was part of the reason I chose this car, is knowing that it could fit a lot of tire. And most of the newer cars are going to be able to fit more tire.
Yep.
Yeah. So the challenge is going to be to have that tire width modifier, or I don't think the golden eras will be able to survive. Just like the B series, while it will be in the books, is not a true option between price and availability, and then what you would have to do to it. I don't know if it's going to be an option.
Yeah, I mean, to fit a 295 on the front of a golden era car, you might have to make it more than 2 inches wider on each side, which you can't do in H1 now anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely more than a tub. And I don't think the hubs and spindles will like it.
Yeah.
You know, if you put
Not
an
for
18
long,
on
anyway.
it, you're going to start to flex everything.
I did test fit a set
Right.
of my rain tires on the front of the Type R. They looked pretty cool.
There you go. It looks sick.
It looks sick.
It drives like booty, in my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah.
Grid life people.
So there's multiple challenges with H1 that I don't know, even if you knew all of them at the beginning, you being the rules committee or people who race H1 providing the data to the rules committee to help educate the rules committee to make the proper decisions. I think it's going to take multiple cuts at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we also need to look at the crowd of people most likely to move to H1, right? It's probably going to be a lot of people that we're already racing with that are already driving H2 cars. And that's part of the difficulty, is people having the desire to build another car or the money to build another car when they already have a perfectly good H2 car that they're racing with all their buddies.
Yep. It would be nice to try to grab, for example, like people that bought Type Rs and try to get them in that are tracking them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess those cars are kind of getting, air quotes, old enough where people would want to do that now.
Yeah.
So,
I think that was part of the reason Kevin picked it, was for that reason, trying to get more people with those types of cars into racing Honda Challenge.
mm-hmm. And to get ahead of it, because it's going to be a thing eventually. Yeah, I don't know. My plan should help all of that.
Okay. That's good. And I completely intend to have Kevin on. You know, he runs 2 businesses and all that, so he's hard to tie down sometimes. He'll pick up the phone when I call him, but scheduling out time has been tough. But I want to talk to him about the FK8 and the issues, the solutions, and how it does on track, because we're seeing more and more of them every weekend. Every weekend we go to the track, there's more and more FK8s. Like, okay, maybe they finished paying it off. Maybe they just got the bug. Maybe somebody told them about, I don't know. But every weekend there's more and more FK8s out there, and people are upgrading. You know, there's been a couple guys with 8th gens who've been TT instructor kind of guys with 8th gens, and they actually got rid of their cars to go to the FK8 because, you know, why not, right? Big, powerful car, right? So they're going to be there to bait them in. And I think the faster we solve that issue, the more likely we'll see bigger H1 fields.
Get to work, Jackie.
I'm on
Right.
it.
What are you on this podcast for? You should just hang up on me and just go write the rules right now. You have 12 minutes to fix everything.
I mean, okay. So we're going to do it this way with this
Right.
modifier for this. Yeah, I mean, getting the new cars in would be great. Listen, I would love it if it was like a whole bunch of TSXs and TLs, because you could go get a V6 TL and manual swap it, or find a manual one if you get lucky, and race that. And like me with my K series, get my butt kicked. That's great. I don't care. I got enough trophies. I want to see people drive and see the class grow. That'd be fantastic. I don't know exactly how to get these people in, but like you said, there's more of them showing up at the track every weekend. So it's only a matter of time. Somebody gets bored in like HPD 4. I was thinking about time trials, but I kind of want to race. Come race it. Put a cage in it and race it. Let's go.
Yep.
And if they have a friend with one, their friend will come too, and it'll happen. It's going to take a little while, but they are getting cheaper. People are starting to drive them, so I think it'll be a thing.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely going to be harder to get the converts. You're going to have the new builds show up, the new drivers show up.
Yeah. I have so many K-Series cars up here that are a motor swap and a splitter away from being like a basic H1 car, and none of them will do it. Even if it's blown up and you got to stick a motor back in it anyway.
So sabotage is not the way?
I mean, it hasn't worked so far. I keep like blowing Ken's car up, and he just keeps coming back with these $300 engines. So,
I think if we secretly swapped a 260 horsepower K into Mike Young's car, he would not take it out.
Probably not.
Well, he's already got 260 foot-pound of torque. What are you talking about?
Yes. His competitors would say that right now. It pulls pretty good.
Currently, yes.
Currently, yes.
Yes, currently, I will say that.
I wasn't like taller than everyone else in the universe. I would gladly just hand my car over to people. I'm like, just go drive it and experience it. Because it's wild. It's so much different than driving an H2 car, even if it feels the same.
I will not be doing that.
Oh, I don't care. My car's a million years old. It's fine.
Yeah. I won't be handing the keys over to my car.
I'll do it. I am okay with that. Yours is brand new. That is fine. If anybody wants to drive my car, feel free.
All right. So so my challenge, Ryan, well, you guys both joked about just drop a J series in it. It's a K native car, so it would be easier. I'm air quoting. You can't see me because my internet sucks and I had to turn that off, to just drop a K24 in it.
Do it.
Mm-hmm. Do it.
Right. Well, then I have to build it.
Not currently. You can't build it.
You don't port the heads on your K series?
Mine is 100% stock.
I thought you could port your heads in the K series.
Oh, you can.
Just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
First pull on a dyno made 230 something. Everybody was quite surprised. It's fine.
Yeah, but they love air.
Okay.
You need to port.
So do it.
I'm not made of money.
I don't need to do it, Con. I already have an H1 car. You need to do it for your H1 car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people converted, I would probably go the K24 route. Even though I'm not sure, I'd have to cut a leg off or something to get down. No, it says 2,800 pounds. Is that true? No, that's the wrong.
What are the weights for K20 and K24?
K24 is 2,600. K20 is it's either 2,350 or 2,400.
It's 2,350. I'm looking at it right now. So that. Yeah, I'd have to go read the rules, see how abusive I could be to a K24. Where are you revving your K24 to, Jackie, if you don't mind me asking?
K20.
Mine's a K20. I turned 8,700, but my K24 was 82.
Okay.
Yeah, 82.
Okay.
Piston speed's pretty high, so you don't want to rev them up too high.
Send them. Who cares?
Yeah, you can.
So then if I did it, I believe in 9,000 RPMs all the time. I think when I put an actual ITR B18C5 in my car, it ruined me. But and then to follow that up with a K20Z3 that is revs to the moon already, like, yeah, I've been ruined. I don't think I can get my car to 2350. 2600 I think I could do.
Yeah.
It'll take work, but I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
The next trick would be how the modifier for the tire plays out. Because right now I'm on a 245 front, 225 rear, and I definitely would need more front tire for the power, but I don't know. Well, I bet I could get a 245 in the rear. So it just depends on how that modifier lays. Plus, in H1 you can have flares and stuff, right?
Yeah. How do you propose you're going to get heat in a 245 in the back?
I don't know. However, he's running around putting heat in a 295 in the back.
3,200 pounds, Con.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm on a 225 now. What's 20 millimeters between friends?
20 degrees.
You think so?
I'm a 40 millimeter split front to rear, for what it's worth.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what my Hoosier setup was, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we don't have to give you the whole recipe, Con. Just put a 230 horsepower K24 in the car and see what it does.
Let's go.
I don't need 200. I don't need a K24 to put 230 horsepower in my car. Apparently, my K20 makes 229.
Well, then what's the hold up?
Yeah. So uncork it and put a big splitter on. Stop running your yap on the podcast, and let's go. Get it ready for Summit.
So I can come down there and steamroll it.
Yes. Let's go. I'm ready.
Well, if there's only 3 of us, it won't be bad. I could at least get on the podium, 8 seconds behind you guys. But yeah,
not if your caliper breaks again. You end up in the tire wall.
Hell, let's not talk about that right now.
What's the new brake set sorted out? Yeah, what is the new setup?
So the Wonderladen Racing, they're the group that we first started developing the AP setup for.
Yep.
And just the AP caliper price and availability was becoming a problem. And so they were able to source an EBC caliper setup that is similar pad size, actually better pad size, a little thicker, a little taller, has more face on the rotor. We still stuck with the OEM based rotor because that was sort of my like kicking and screaming. It must be based on an OEM rotor because if something busts, I want to be able to go to the parts store. So they have a kit. It's an EBC kit and a 350Z rotor. That's probably what I'll be on.
Yeah, those are nice calipers.
Yeah, they seem pretty decent. They're not the Paragons. I wanted them. I wanted the Paragons with the chromes and all that to be as fancy as Mr. Bradfield here. But that was just not in the cards.
You didn't want to eat into your K24 money.
Got it. Didn't want to cut into his H1 bill.
Yeah. The K24 that's hiding under a bench in my garage somewhere. Yeah.
Pull it out. Let's go.
Well, pull it out, pull the head, send it to get completely gutted, ported, all that jazz.
Let's go.
Wait for the rules to come back out.
I have a cut RBC on the shelf if you need one of those. If you don't want to cut the one that you currently have for the K24.
Well, I'm about to. It's legal to cut for H2 now, so.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to cut it or keep your engine together. I'm trying to help you out, Con.
I mean, I have multiple RBC manifolds, just saying. But I was thinking about maybe a RSP manifold.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Things that may not fit in the engine bay. We never know. But, yeah.
Now we're getting into Honda engine genres that I don't know anything about.
Oh, okay. So the RSP is off the Euro TSX, and it's a sort of a hybrid of the long runner to like long runner. It's like a RBC meets a RBB. I know you don't know either of those, but it's sort of they use long runners, but in the middle they put this cavity for more air, and then they put velocity stacks in there. Go Honda.
Sure.
So in theory, I don't know. I need to get Andy Hollis on here because he took my RBB, my Endyne RBB, and my RSP manifold and put them on his K series CRX and test dyno tuned all of them.
Nice.
He ended up with a RBC, I believe, but he really liked the RSP manifold, so we'll see.
Cool.
He's a peak horsepower kind of guy, so.
Mm.
And if there's a horsepower power to weight ratio kind of thing, and are we looking at maybe a smack your hand too much flat tune issue like they do in ST4? Is that going to be part of it?
Probably.
Come on, you're ruining things.
I don't know. At 10-1, do you think that'd really be a huge problem? If power to weight's 10-1, I mean, how much flat tuning are you really going to do?
Well, if I took a 300 horsepower J series and put it in my car and I was way over on horsepower and then I flat tuned the nuts out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's possible for sure. A lot easier with all the newer cars coming out that are drive by wire.
And have turbos.
Yep. So.
Okay, I want to debunk this. It's easier with the drive-by-wire thing.
If you have a standalone ECU, Con.
Correct. And you have to have Haltech wasn't necessarily the answer. Let's say that. It's nice that we get the Haltech, but it's probably not the answer for drive-by-wire ECU. It's not the bee's knees that some people would claim it would be. So. Just saying, the detuning, the throttle body adjustment stuff isn't that great, in my opinion.
Okay.
So, yes, it's possible, but does it put down the best curve? Probably not. And the Haltech does it more often and in better increments than the K or the Flash Pro that I'm using right now, because Flash Pro does it like every 1,000 RPM, lets you adjust it, which means you shut it down way too early. And then the K series, this is why they love air, and we proved it, is at 60% throttle. If you keep revving it, it'll blow over the dyno anyway. So you're going to cut timing anyway. You might as well just use the timing only and not kill your power early. But I think that's where there's going to be some growing pains in H1, especially in a power to weight. And I don't know how you're going to.
I'm happy to accept the pain. Let's just get the growing going first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, there is a point when you can detune it too far, which we've seen in ST4. So. Oh,
you mean too low of a horsepower?
Mm-hmm.
Or too flat of a curve?
No, too low of a horsepower, and the motor's whatever the particular motor is just not happy, or the combination just doesn't work. The motors get really lazy when you start to take too much out of them. So,
yeah, mine sounds like it runs really well where it's at. I don't know if I would want to get detuned any more than 200, but. Yeah, I could see that.
I think yours probably makes more than my R does.
Yeah, I mean, according to Chad, my K20Z3 made the most power he's seen out of a K20Z3 on his dyno, but.
And you're wasting it in H2.
I'm telling you.
I don't know. Seems fine. Seems fine in H2. I can't beat the H2 guys. What's 20 horsepower, 30 horsepower going to do for me?
Well, if you make those changes for Hyperfest, you're guaranteed third place, man. That's a podium.
Yeah, but I have that amount of horsepower is only worth like 2 seconds at VIR, and I'd need to find another 4. So where am I going to get that?
What I'm saying is, Con, we only have 2 competitors right now. You could bring your car as is and run it in H1 and get third place.
And still race with your friends in H2 if you want to.
Exactly.
Yeah, might as well. I don't want to ruin their races. So.
And then Kevin and I get some tire money.
Oh, you guys don't get any contingency with just 2 people, right?
I think we need 3. Yeah. 3, and then it pays out first and second.
Okay.
Which
Well,
pays
you
out?
need to supersize to TT so you can get some contingency.
I should. It also, that's a good idea. The payouts are also higher in H1 right now than H2.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
because most of the cars have a larger tire, so we had that adjusted a while ago.
Yeah.
Why don't you hook a brother up for H2? Because my tires are not cheap.
Well, Con, we're talking about H1 here.
Yeah.
I know.
You brought us here to talk about H1, and we're trying to get you to come to H1.
Yeah. And you're complaining to the wrong 2 people about prices of tires.
Woo!
That's true.
Or
That's
availability. I had to run on Hoosiers last year because I couldn't buy Toyos because there weren't any.
Yeah. My 255 rears weren't available for a while.
Yeah. So okay. Let's devolve a little bit. But H1, are we sticking with the Toyo in Honda Challenge?
We don't have a choice.
Okay, we don't have a choice. That's fair. That's not, that's where the fight started 15 years ago or whatever. But the Proxy R, the new one, are the sizes going to be available for Ryan to run?
I don't work for Toyo.
Right. Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm going to grab a set when they come out and just try it and see what it does and see if it meets the claims that they claim. But as far as tire size, we don't know any more than anyone else.
Okay. So the rumor is it's the Proxy R, for those that don't know, is supposed to be an aim at the Hoosier R7, I believe.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's a huge jump.
You're skeptical of the claim it's an R7 competitor.
I've driven on both, and I know where the Toyo falls short compared to the Hoosier, but they can fix it. The Toyo is also not that bad.
What do you think the Hoosiers would be worth at VIR over the Toyos, time-wise?
A sticker, couple seconds.
That sounds fun.
But the setup is different.
Yeah.
I'd say at VIR it's probably like a good 2, like a solid 2.
Yeah.
The sizes are a little weird, even though it's the same size. Dimensionally, the tires are different. The Hoosier's always wider. Sometimes they're taller, so that may slow you down. Just screw with your gearing. But a sticker is fast for sure.
Oh, you prepping for HFGT over there, Ryan? You ready to burn some money?
No, I will not have a fresh set of Hoosiers for HFGT.
Okay.
Unless someone's donating a fresh set of Hoosiers, then sure, I'll put them on the car.
Yeah, for $2,000 a set. Sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, that's that. Hopefully the price doesn't go to Hoosier price, but we'll see. They're trying to get
right.
With what I know of the 15-inch Toyo RR and the 17-inch Toyo RR, they're already doing different carcasses. They're doing, in my opinion, a different tire compound. So they're already doing something.
I mean, certainly they're not going to release a tire that's worse than the incumbent tire. So it's got to be better.
Well, they've done it before, but
yes, they have.
Yeah, I think they learned their lesson. But Yeah, they're probably testing all the things that were shortcomings of the current RR for the R, hence the carcass change. There's definitely a compound change that's been going on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they're going to go after the Hoosier, it's got to be stiffer. And essentially, it needs to be a stiffer tire that doesn't fall off in the heat. Those are the two big ones. Because if the sidewall is stiffer and it doesn't fall off after 5 laps, for example, you can at least fight with a Hoosier. Because if it's 90 degrees out, that Hoosier guy, even if he got it wrong, is going to have it wrong for the whole race, and it's not going to die.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy if they just didn't fall off.
Yeah. That was the big thing with the Hoosier. The scrubs that I had, you could run your fastest lap in the very last lap of the race all the time. They don't fall off.
Well, we'll
Colin,
see. We'll see what the tire.
Con, what do you think the fast lap of the HFGT race is going to be? Time-wise.
It depends if they let the cheater cars in again.
I think the answer is yes.
Oh, then
Didn't they run like a 202 last year or something?
I think it was a 201.
Was it a 201?
201. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's crazy.
That's crackhead speed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to guess a 159.
Yeah, definitely in the one. And as long as the weather's good for it. It's not raining.
Probably no dyno after that race.
Never. Why would we? Yeah, on a car that claimed it didn't have an ECU. Yeah, it doesn't count. So it's just for fun.
I don't know. They get a cool trophy.
Okay, so spend $2,000 and turn up the wick, Ryan.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, we got a lot more to do if that's the case.
Yeah.
Got to revamp the whole front end of that car. It needs to go very much flat up the S's.
Yep. We'll get there.
Take a couple 100 pounds out of it.
Yeah, off the front.
Yeah. And you're not carrying ballast, right, Ryan?
No. It pretty much weighs what it weighs right now.
She's naturally thick.
She's naturally thick.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just like you like them.
There's a race
for the race cars, yeah. I think the big takeaway, and it's probably because you guys browbeat me a little bit, is these rules are a work in progress. So if you're interested in H1, that's just be aware. But K-native cars, pre-K swap cars, you're kind of the easy button in. And if you're a savage like Mr. Bradfield here, and you want to put a J series in whatever, that's going to be pretty competitive too. And if you have that bling, you can just buy a Type R FK8 or newer from Copart, and it might end up in the rules too, right?
It'll definitely be in the rules. I mean,
for when? 2025?
Well, only because they probably won't let us make the changes that I want to do mid-season.
Yeah.
It would screw up everybody's season in theory. So, but you could do a J series easy. Just go buy a V6 Accord and manual swap it. Doesn't have to be crazy.
Yeah.
I thought about it. Stu's parents have one sitting in the driveway.
It's the exact same chassis.
Yep. And there's more body panels.
What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for his parents to stop driving it because they're old. Maybe get a or something, and he doesn't have any room for it, so it'd end up at my house anyway. And then, oops, I put a manual in a cage in it. I thought about it though. When I first did my H1 setup and it didn't work the way I intended, I thought about first a TSX, and then I was like, I'll just do a V6 Accord and just manual swap it and be done. And I looked at it and kind of figured it all out. And I was like, wow, I could kind of do this and it wouldn't be terrible. And then somebody built one in a TSX. And I was like, son of a biscuit. I was so annoyed and so happy at the same time. I was like, I get to see how it works.
It works.
I'll be the
trust me, it works.
Oh, I know it works. I'm seeing it. That's why we're having this conversation.
True that. True that. And one last request from me that might help change my mind in the future is there some McPherson strut brake that I can get?
Nope. No.
Come on.
You
Civic
bought the
Type-
car. This is your problem.
Civic
You
Type
had
R
a correct
seems to
chassis.
handle pretty well, Con.
Why? I don't think it handles that well right now. I mean, it handles better than it did. That's for sure. I don't know how these people run on the whatever they decided was the correct thing to do. It doesn't seem correct to me, but
How far off were you lap time wise at the last event?
0.62 seconds.
I don't know, Ryan. That sounds pretty good to me. What do you
That
think?
sounds pretty close. I don't think that's the struts, Con.
No. And what
Oh.
shocks are on that car?
Only the greatest redshift double adjustable remote reservoirs ever built.
Okay, so yeah, you're not getting a modifier for a strut-based car
Why?
because I said so, and I make the rules.
Oh, I can see the in living color finger snap going right now. All right. So, is there anything else we want to cover about H1?
I don't know. If there aren't 5 more H1 cars in 6 months, your podcast is not very good.
Facts.
Well, we know it's not that good already, so don't set your sights that high, Ryan. But hopefully, maybe. You never know.
Putting the onus is on you right now.
Oh, yeah, it's all on me. All on me. Just one little outlet with,
We
a
did our
handful
part.
of
We
listeners.
built cars for the class.
Yeah, for sure.
You did. I probably, in hindsight, I probably should have, but
You still can.
why not? Well, yeah, that's sort of why I went with this chassis is because I can. Will I be that competitive with a K24? Probably not, but we'll see. We'll
You'll
see.
never know until you try.
All right. Well, there will be signs because I'll have to win the lottery first.
Oh, jeez. This guy's got no kids, and he's worried about building a car.
And a supportive wife.
So,
And a
she's very
supportive wife.
supportive. Yeah, she's the best.
Gas truck, open trailer. It's not like you're spending a whole lot of money there. Come on. What are you doing?
Yeah, the truck's paid for. The trailer is, cash. And what am I doing? I'm saving for retirement still.
Con, you can't race when you're old and retired. You need to do it now.
I am doing it now. Just not an H1 yet. We'll see.
There's your problem.
All right, you guys. Thanks for coming on the show. Ryan, do you have anybody you need to shout out for this beautiful, gigantic J Series monster that's been built?
Yeah, I mean, I've had great support from IBAC, from iRun OEM, and from VPR Motorsports. Those guys are all in the car, and they've been great, and just looking forward to Hyperfest.
Miss Jackie, who do you need to shout out for your constantly evolving hatch?
No one, because I have no help. I will thank Angelo from Anze for answering my phone calls about weird stuff that I want to try.
And Wind Shadow Studios, because I saw that banner is now on your car.
Oh yeah, that's new. I guess we can talk about that. Sorry, Mike.
Those slow shots are awesome.
Yeah, there's going to be more. Okay. Yeah, that was a joke that turned into a sponsorship because Mike wanted to put his banner on some cars, and now he has it. So, yeah, repping the guy who takes all our photos and is super nice to all of us. So that should be cool. I'll have more of those slow-mos this year for sure.
I feel like they're helpful to see, too.
Yes.
Yeah. I did a thing about stills and slow-mos and all that jazz, getting a professional photographer. And I can tell you it helps you figure stuff out because you're like, the car feels a little weird, but it's getting through there pretty fast. And then you look at the still and you're like, holy crap, why is it doing that?
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know I was rolling so much till I saw some of Tony's pictures. My inside rear was 6 inches off the ground.
Yeah. Try 8 or 12. But yeah. I didn't know the front compressed enough to get the rear end that high off the ground, but sure. Yeah. So if you want to support a member of the rules committee, a super supportive member of the community, coach extraordinary, where can they hit you up, Jackie?
Instagram's probably the easiest. Low Buck Motorsports. Just put it in. You'll find me. If you're a Facebook person, I'm on Facebook, Jackie Andrews. That's pretty much it. I've got a podcast that kind of sucks. So if you want to listen to that, you can. It's called Jackie's Corner.
When she puts out an episode.
There's one coming tomorrow.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I have something to listen to.
There you go.
All right. And Ryan, where can they find you so they can put stickers and give you money for this big white beauty you built?
Sure. Instagram's pretty active. I'm Honda RCB. And then I've been trying to do more YouTube videos, and that's Ryan Bradfield Racing.
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming on. I honestly hope H1 grows again. If H2 numbers keep dwindling, I might just dust off that K24 under a tarp and figure out what to do with it. So
that sounds good.
Thank you guys.
Yep. You're welcome.
Until next time, keep working on yourself, keep working on the car, and let's get faster.